Hello everyone, welcome into another video, and today I'm gonna be giving my thoughts about the Super Bowl tonight. So today was Super Bowl Sunday. Today was Super Bowl Sunday. So we had the Seahawks and the Patriots in the Super Bowl, and the Super Bowl took place in Santa Clara in Levi Stadium, home of the San Francisco 49ers. And the Seahawks won the Super Bowl. They won their second ever Super Bowl. Obviously, they won it back in 2014. And 12 years later, they win another one. So, yeah, congrats to the Seahawks on winning the Super Bowl. And people ask me, did you cheer for any team in the Super Bowl? And honestly, man, I just didn't really care who won at the end of the day. I just, I mean, those are two teams that I really don't care about. I don't really have a rooting interest in that game. So, you know, whoever wins the game wins the game. And Seattle ended up winning the Super Bowl. And I feel like the Seahawks, man, this season. I didn't thought both teams were going to be in the Super Bowl this year. Obviously, last season both teams actually missed the playoffs, and the Patriots they were 4-13. Last season they made a coaching change, and then the Seahawks did not make the playoffs. They were like 7-10 last season, and both of them had 14-win seasons. And yeah, both of them really shocked the NFL this season. And no one really thought that those two teams were gonna make it all the way to the Super Bowl, and they did. And the Seahawks ended up winning the Super Bowl. So yeah, so again, congrats to the Seahawks for winning the Super Bowl. And you look at the Seahawks, man. I thought, overall, the game wasn't really the best. If I'm being honest, I don't think the game was really that great. I feel like the Seahawks just pretty much took over the entire game. The Seahawks defense was absolutely phenomenal. They got after Drake May. Um, and when it comes to the Patriots, man, they really couldn't move the football for like most of the game, but in the fourth quarter they kind of did. Um, but yeah, like they couldn't even get in the field goal range in like the first three quarters of the game, and the Seahawks defense they really played their best today, and when it comes to the Patriots, I mean they didn't thought they were even going to make it all the way to the Super Bowl. You know, and for me, when it comes to the Patriots, man, I just feel like that they really had an easy. They just had a cupcake schedule this year. Like, um, they had one of the easiest schedules in the NFL this season, and when it came to the playoffs, they beat the Chargers, who their offensive line is not good, and then they beat the Texans when they didn't have their best wide. The Texans did not really have their best wide receiver in that game, and then they beat the Broncos, who the Broncos didn't have Bo Nix starting that game. It was Jarrett Stidham, and they went to the Super Bowl, and they found out that they were pretty much a cupcake team all season long, and they actually faced someone good in the Seahawks. And yeah, the Seahawks, man, they really have one of the best defense in the NFL. Sam Darnold, man, I need to mention Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold, man, this guy. was drafted back in 2018 by the New York Jets, and I thought when Sam Darnold got drafted that he had a lot of potential to be a really good quarterback in the NFL, and I thought that the Jets got the franchise quarterback, and he sucked with the Jets, and then the Jets released him, and then he went to the. Sorry if my dog is barking in the background, but yeah, he went. So the Jets released him, and he went to the Panthers as a backup, um, and then the Panthers cut him, and then he was the backup with the 49ers under Brock Purdy, and then he signed with the Vikings. He was supposed to be the backup to JJ McCarthy, and then JJ McCarthy got hurt, and Sam Darnold had to beat the starting quarterback last season for the Vikings, and he did really good for the Vikings. He pretty much rejuvenated his career with the Minnesota Vikings, winning 14 games last season, and then the Vikings let him go, and he went to the Seahawks, and he's now a Super Bowl champion, the first quarterback from the 2018 class to win a Super Bowl. Hard to believe, man, that Sam Darnold won a Super Bowl before Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Baker Mayfield. Um, you know, but yeah, kind of crazy to know that he's the first quarterback in that 2018 class that got a Super Bowl already. So I mean, obviously, I feel like the Vikings, man, they should have kept Sam Darnold. I understand, JJ McCarthy was their guy, and they drafted him for a reason. They drafted him to be their franchise quarterback, but JJ McCarthy, he's not a good quarterback. I always thought that JJ McCarthy was super overrated. Like he didn't think that great in Michigan. I mean, yeah, he won a national championship with Michigan, but Michigan defense was really good, and that the defense for Michigan that season pretty much carried them to the national championship. And like I don't think JJ McCarthy is a good quarterback. I really don't, and I feel like the Vikings, they probably regret letting Sam Darnold go to the Seahawks, and you know, but yeah, like Sam Darnold, man, he really turned his career around with the Vikings, and he really did carry that momentum into the Seahawks, and yeah, so yeah, Sam Darnold now a Super Bowl champion, um, and yeah, so Seahawks ended up winning the Super Bowl, and now we'll see how the Seahawks do next season. Could they go back to back? Maybe. We'll see. Um, Obviously, Kent Kubiak, the offensive coordinator for the Seahawks, is gonna be the head coach for the Raiders. So he leaves Seattle with a ring as a Super Bowl champion, and now he's gonna be the head coach for the Las Vegas Raiders. I keep saying, for some reason, Oakland Raiders kind of slipped through my mind, but I wish the Raiders were in Oakland still, but should have been the Oakland Raiders, but the Las Vegas Raiders. So yeah, he's gonna be the head coach for the Las Vegas Raiders next season, and obviously the Raiders are gonna get Fernando Mendoza, which is awesome. Like the Raiders, man, they're gonna get a great quarterback in Fernando Mendoza. And man, Fernando Mendoza, this guy is super talented, man. Like he's gonna do great in the NFL. Like the Raiders, man, they're gonna get a great quarterback in Fernando Mendoza. So yeah, Fernando Mendoza, he's gonna go to the Raiders, and Ken Kubiak is gonna be the head coach for the Las Vegas Raiders. So yeah, so overall the game, man, not really the best, at all, man. But the Seahawks defense, they were just controlling this game the entire time, and they really did play good defense overall. And Kenneth Walker won the MVP, the Super Bowl MVP. He was great in that game, for the Seahawks. So Kenneth Walker getting the MVP. But yeah, so I'm kind of done talking about the game already. So the performances, you had Bam Bunny and doing the halftime show, and Green Day, who was doing the opening ceremony of the Super Bowl. And I did watch the Green Day part. Bad Bunny, I just don't like Bad Bunny, guys. I just don't like him at all, man. I never really cared for his music at all. But I did watch Green Day performance, and it was great, man. Green Day really did killed it um at the Super Bowl, man, and I think they did great. So the first song was "Time of Your Life." That's a good song from Green Day. So yeah, they sing that song during the when they were doing the past in Super Bowl MVPs thing. They sang that song "Time of Your Life," and then "Holiday," another good song. I do like that song a lot. I know that band, the Canucks. That used to be the goal song for the Canucks back in 2011, back in their Stanley Cup final run in 2011. I do like that song. It's a good song from Green Day. And then they sing Boulevard of Broken Dreams, one of my favorite Green Day songs, man. I really do love that song a lot. One of the best songs from Green Day, Boulevard of Broken Dreams. And then the last song was American Idiot. I knew they were gonna sing that song at the Super Bowl. You know, was the American Idiot. I know Green Day kind of revert their lyrics a bit in that song. Originally, um, it says that I'm not part of the redneck agenda, and they kind of reverted to I'm not part of the MAGA agenda. Obviously that song was made like in 2004. It was like um a song going against the Bush administration and stuff. So obviously that song kind of got some people attention just because I'm not gonna really talk about politics here at all, man. But yeah, where I'm coming from. But um, yeah, so they sing that song. So yeah, Green Day, I think they did a good job. Obviously, NBC did censor the part that Green Day said, "Fuck America." And some people got mad because NBC censored that out. Like broadcast. They're gonna censor out curse words, overall. So I mean, it's kind of dumb that they have to censor that, honestly. But yeah, so yeah, so Green Day. did the open ceremony. And Green Day, they're a Bay Area band. They're from the Bay Area. Their leader singer, um, Billy Joe Armstrong. He was born in Oakland, so yeah, he's from the Bay Area. So I mean, it made sense to go with them because they're a Bay Area band. But yeah, Green Day, they have a lot of great songs. Obviously, they sing all the good songs at the Super Bowl. Um, but yeah, that's all I have to say about Green Day. Um, yeah, so now next year the Super Bowl is going to be headed towards Los Angeles. So SoFi Stadium in Inglewood will host the Super Bowl next year on Valentine's Day. So Super Bowl 61 will take place on Valentine's Day in LA. So that should be interesting to see. Next big event in the Bay Area coming up is the World Cup. So obviously Levi Stadium is going to host some World Cup games. And just in a few months from now, so the World Cup coming to the United States, and Levi Stadium. It's one of the venues for the World Cup this summer, so should be fun. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the World Cup. Obviously, I wasn't even gonna go to the Super Bowl. You guys saw my video yesterday, me posting by yesterday I was by Levi Stadium yesterday, and it was a cool scene. It was a really cool scene. Obviously, yesterday I went to the Bay Area just because I kind of wanted to go past Levi Stadium and see where the Super Bowl is gonna be played, and that's why I went over there yesterday. And yeah, like who knows when the Bay Area is gonna host another Super Bowl? It's gonna probably be a long time, man, um because there's gonna be other host cities that are gonna host the Super Bowl, like Nashville, Cleveland, Kansas City, um, Chicago. Those places, man, they're building domes already just because all they want is to host a Super Bowl. Oh boy, nowadays, man, you know all these sports teams are just building domes. It's just ridiculous, man. All because they want to host the Super Bowl. Just ridiculous, man. But yeah, next year the Super Bowl again is gonna be in LA. Then in 2 years, Atlanta's gonna host the Super Bowl, and then 2029, I do think Las Vegas is pretty much just gonna host the Super Bowl in 2029. I think, and then in 2030, maybe Nashville will host the Super Bowl. That stadium is gonna get completed by like 2027. So next year, that stadium should be completed, and they're gonna try to get a Super Bowl there in Nashville, and by like somewhere like 2030 or something like that. So yeah, man, like now these sports teams are now trying to get Super Bowls already, and obviously it might be to like in the 2040s when the Bay Area is gonna host another Super Bowl or stuff. So um yeah, so it was a cool experience going by the stadium. But yeah, I wasn't even gonna go to the Super Bowl anyways, just because the tickets were just too expensive for me to even go. like the lowest seats, like the bad seats, man, they cost like thousands of dollars, and the best seats cost like millions of dollars. So obviously there was no way for me to even go to the Super Bowl, and I prefer to watch the Super Bowl from home, to be honest. I mean, it would be cool to go to the Super Bowl, but I mean, I can just watch it from home and stuff. So yeah. So yeah, guys. So yeah, I mean the performances. I mean Green Day did great, and Bad Bunny, man, didn't really. I didn't even watch the halftime show at all, because I don't like Bad Bunny, dude. I absolutely don't like Bad Bunny, and hopefully, obviously they're probably gonna pick another shitty artist, in 2027. Who knows who that halftime performer is? Maybe I don't know who's gonna perform at the halftime show, but you know, hopefully not Taylor Swift. Probably gonna be someone shitty. Probably gonna be someone shitty, dude. So I mean, yeah, and then I think maybe the Red Hot Chili Peppers might perform like at the open ceremony, just like what Green Day did. So maybe the Red Hot Chili Peppers might perform at the Super Bowl, but that's gonna be the opening ceremony of the game. So um, yeah, so um, yeah, so obviously Levi Stadium now is gonna focus on the World Cup. And then who knows when the Bay Area is gonna host another big event like the World Cup or the Super Bowl. I know they're trying to like get a game for the Women's World Cup in 2031, and stuff. So maybe they can try to host a national championship for college football at Levi Stadium. They did host it back in 2019. At Levi Stadium. So we'll see about that. But yeah, LA hosting the Super Bowl next year. Also, SoFi Stadium is going to get a World Cup game, and then the Olympics in 2028. So yeah, guys. I think that's all I have to say. So yeah, congrats to the Seahawks for winning the Super Bowl, and we'll see how next year NFL season goes. So yeah, Seattle's gonna have the opening game. Um, it's gonna have the first game of the NFL season next season, and one of the opponents that they're gonna face at home is the Patriots. So I wouldn't be surprised if the opening game is the Patriots and the Seahawks, a rematch of the Super Bowl, and stuff. So yeah, so the NFL season is now over, and now it's time to focus on the off season. And now teams are gonna try to really fix their team, and who knows, maybe one of those teams um, ends up in the Super Bowl a year from now. Yeah, so the NFL is really unpredictable, guys, and none of us predicted those two teams to be in the Super Bowl at the start of the season. So yeah, I'm gonna end the video, guys. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. You like the channel, and I see you guys next time. Bye.